I want to begin with Dr. Anand Ranganathan this evening. Viewers, Dr. Ranganathan has been on this panel earlier. He speaks his mind. We've also, today, Dr. Ranganathan been privy to a hearing, a historic second hearing in the Karnataka High Court. Of course, it's concluded inconclusively. I have a problem with that. I wish the petitioners had been asked to go home, but fair enough. The wisdom of the judge prevails, and he has sent this matter up to the Chief Justice of the Karnataka High Court. I suppose that matter will be debated there. But I want to ask you, what do you make of all this? This business of turning a hijab into a hatyar or a weapon, this endeavor of, regression in the garb of rights, and this threat to cast this religious veil over secular India. What do you make of this?
Yeah, good evening, Rahul, and good evening to all my fellow panelists. No, I have to say this, Rahul, it's amusing and tragic at the same time. And I'll tell you why. They promoted open defecation because they hated Modi's Swachh Bharat. They promoted obesity because they hated Modi's Fit India. Now they are promoting oppressive dress code because they hate Modi's government school uniform guideline. Modi hatred has transformed progressives into psychopaths. Now they are saying, pehle hijab, fir kitab. Let's hope Modi doesn't start promoting pranayam. Ye log to saans lena band kar denge. But Rahul, you only have to see the degeneration of our so-called feminists and activists on this issue. Today, all day, their old tweets and quotes have been discovered and outed. Before 2014, all of them, to each man and woman, were saying burqa is oppressive and a tool of subjugation. And I include even Muslim women here. But now they see burqa as liberating. Do they not have an iota of shame? Do they not see how they are destroying the lives of millions of gullible Muslim girls? If this isn't tragedy, I don't know what is. They themselves wear a bikini but want young girls to wear the burqa. How can you call yourself secular and at the same time fight for religious dress codes to be allowed in school? How can you call yourself objective when you outrage on Karnataka but are totally silent on Kerala, where the government has banned wearing of hijab over SPC uniform? The Kerala High Court has dismissed Muslim plea to wear hijab to school. And Kerala Muslim Education Society, that controls as many as 150 schools, has banned the niqab. Where are these leftists, wokes and Islamists when it comes to Kerala? Kya karte hain? But as I said, Rahul, beyond the hypocrisy and selectivity, there is a deeper issue here. And I want to address that time and again because I'm clear, Rahul, there should be one rule and no duplicity in implementing or following it. And when I say religious dress codes, symbols and identities, I mean all religions, no exception. So a school can ban hijab or a burqa even though Allah commands it. 24, 31, 33, 59. A school can ban it because it has a specific rule or a uniform. But it cannot at the same time, according to me, allow a tilak, kada, cross, turban, or even jenehu. Well, as long as these religious symbols are concealed and not exhibited, I'm fine. In any case, don't schools allow entry to circumcised boys? Circumcision is, after all, a religious commandment in Islam. It is essential. But because it is concealed, it should be fine. But then again, I ask a very simple question. Again, I'm asking it again, Rahul. What if tomorrow some religion or its God orders women to be shackled in ball and chain at all times? Would you demand that the school allow the girls to rattle and drag themselves in? And more important, Rahul, just 10 seconds. We are right now balking when women believe in covering themselves from head to toe. We say that it is oppressive and psychologically damaging. But we, the same people, we keep quiet when the same women believe that the earth was created in a week and is flat. That is not oppressive. That is not psychologically damaging. I mean, I'll much rather we wore a cardboard box but believed in science.
Well,
yes. No,
the lady there, I think Mariam is her name, is absolutely right. You see, it is very depressing. This whole discussion is very depressing for an atheist like me, and I'll tell you why. Do you know, Ishkaran, you're talking of consent, but according to Census 2011, 155 million Indian infants aged 1 to
3 have been categorized as Hindu, Muslim, Sikh and Isai. Did the census lady knock and ask a 3-year-old Indian kid whether you are Hindu or Muslim? Did he say, nahi, main Hindu and Muslim nahi hu? So, when you can categorize children as religious, their parents have the right to, to take their lives towards the religion that is theirs. Secondly, you also know, Ishkaran, that Muslims need not follow the Child Marriage Act, Indian Child Marriage Act. In fact, the Gujarat High Court has adjudicated that
That's
an
true.
11-year-old Muslim
Yes.
girl can actually marry. So where is the...
Mariam is right, Ishkaran.
Would you say that?
See, you have a problem with Muslims. See, I will tell you one
I don't
thing.
have a
Since
problem with
2000
Muslims, sir. I'm
Yes, yes, you have a
welcoming.
problem with Muslims.
I'm welcoming
Let me
you,
tell
sir, on this show
let
to
me
take
tell
a
you-
position.
let
You're
me
not
talk.
taking a
Now ask the
position.
question. Let me talk. Let me talk.
I don't have
Let
a
me talk. Let me
problem.
answer.
What gives you, one second.
India-
What gives you the
India-
right to say
India
I have a
being the
problem with
largest-
Muslims?
when we-
I have a
out of-
problem with
see,
Muslims, sir, who say, yes, who say, pehle
it is
hijab,
a
fir
constitution.
kitab.
It's not about who.
I have a
who is
problem
saying
with
what.
that
It's about
because
the
that is against the
Constitution of
secular
India.
ethos.
Constitution-
Do you agree with Owaisi?
It's not being
Sir, you don't have a
against
problem
Owaisi.
with
I agree with the
Muslims. You
point.
should be
What the
supporting
Constitution
Owaisi.
says.
Support
Don't
him.
you know what the
Say,
Constitution says? Why
I'm
is
asking you this
democracy in
question.
the world, why so hell-bent?
Mr. Sheikh Amir, I'm asking you a question. You're not answering the question. You're a Congress leader. At least your boss has taken a position. Why don't you take your position? Take a position behind her. Say what she's saying is right.
Everybody has a right to choose whatever he likes to choose.
Okay.
And the Constitution gives us that right.
Okay.
See, I believe the
So
Constitution is not at work.
then, 1 second. Let Dr. Ranganathan come in on this. Let Shazia Ilmi also come in on this. She's a Muslim lady on this panel. Dr. Ranganathan, a quick response to Mr. Sheikh
Yes.
Amir.
No, with due respect to Mr. Sheikh, I want to say this. Today, it's a live demonstration, Rahul, that any sensible Congress spokesperson or leader will sooner or later be suspended. What is Mr. Sheikh doing? I mean, the point of the matter is twofold. Number one, he represents Congress, whose scion represents Wayanad in Kerala. Show me one tweet or one outrage of Rahul Gandhi in the 3 instances in Kerala where the Kerala government has banned the hijab over SPC uniform, where the Kerala Muslim Education Society and 150 schools have banned the niqab, where the Kerala High Court has banned using hijab for school uniforms. Where is the outrage there? And when he's saying that it is a constitutional right, I'm sorry. Please go ahead. You are a lawyer, sir. Read the 2016 High Court, Kerala High Court judgment that banned hijab from school uniform. It says your right does not supersede the right of the school to prescribe a uniform. आप लॉयर हैं या क्या है मेरी समझ में नहीं आ रहा, लेकिन जो भी हैं आप कभी कांग्रेस से सस्पेंड नहीं होंगे, क्योंकि जो सेंसिबल कांग्रेसीज होते हैं वो ही सस्पेंड होते हैं.
जी.
Okay, look,
Yeah.
let me, you left him completely dumbstruck. Now, I want to ask you, Dr. Ranganathan, you talked about how Rahul Gandhi has never tweeted his outrage.
Know about the right.
1 second. He's from Wayanad. He's never tweeted his outrage against certain practices. Now, I remember there is a controversial BJP politician who was beheaded. Can I ask you a small question, Dr. Ranganathan? What in Islam is the punishment for blasphemy? Because if it is about putting religion first and giving people the right to exercise their fundamental rights that are promised to them because of their religion, then we should also be according them the right to invoke justice as they please. After all, why not? So, Dr. Ranganathan, what is the position in Islam on blasphemy?
Yeah, it's very clear on blasphemy, Rahul. The point is, the Quran does not prescribe a punishment, but Allah does say in 33:57, those who abuse Allah and His Messenger, Allah has cursed them in this world and the hereafter and prepared for them a humiliating punishment. Indeed, the penalty for those who wage war against Allah, now that is all relative. What do you mean by waging war against Allah and His Messenger and strive upon earth to cause corruption is none but that they be killed or crucified, or that their hands and their feet be cut off from the opposite sides, or that they be exiled from the land. That is for them a disgrace in this world, and for them in the hereafter is a great punishment. 533.
So if we go down this religious route, Dr. Ranganathan, I just want to ask you, since everyone wants now to put the hijab before the kitab, if you go down this route, you will end up in a jurisprudence of this nature also. And then they'll say, well, we have the right to cut off people's hands because that is what, is essential part of our religion.
Yes, but do we not see that in evidence? In Kamlesh Tiwari's case, in Kishan's case, that has happened in Pakistan with gay abandon. You've seen that. In India, it is rare, but it is increasing. So the fact of the matter is, sooner or later, Rahul, you can, as I say, I quote the axiom, you can keep on snaring the fundamentals.
Right.
But for how long will you keep on sparing the fundamentalists?
Let me ask.
An argument is this. What kind of an argument is this, that if they don't wear hijab, their families will be scared to send them to schools and colleges? You know, uniform is something that people have worn, whether in army, whether in air force, whether in schools, you know, and decision of the women should be supreme, but that decision can be taken when they're adults. In schools, there is a uniform. And there is that policy that has to be followed. What's the big deal that is this being made out of? Because this issue has come up in the Bombay High Court in 2003. It's come up in the Supreme Court in another matter, pre-medical test matter in 2015. And the Supreme Court has said that there cannot be any special allowances based on religion. So why is there such a ooh-la-la over this hijab issue? Is it linked to politics? Dr. Anand Ranganathan?
Good evening, Navika, and good evening to all my fellow panelists. No, of course it is. Look, it's very simple. How can you call yourself secular and at the same time fight for religious dress codes to be allowed in schools? How can you call yourself objective when you outrage on Karnataka but are totally silent on Kerala, where the government has banned wearing of hijab over SPC uniform, where the Kerala High Court has dismissed Muslim plea to wear hijab to school, and where the Kerala Muslim Education Society, controlling 150 schools, has banned niqab? Where are these leftist wokes and Islamists when it comes to Kerala? Saap soong jata hai kya? Bas BJP ruled Karnataka mein halla machana hai. But beyond the hypocrisy and selectivity, Navika, there is a broader issue here. And let me address that. Number one, I am clear. There should be one rule and no duplicity in implementing or following it. And when I say religious dress codes or symbols or identities, I mean all religions, no exception. So a school can ban hijab or a burqa because it has a specific rule of a uniform, but it cannot at the same time allow a tilak, kada, cross, turban. What about Janehu, some may ask? Well, as long as these religious symbols are concealed and not exhibited. In any case, don't schools allow entry to circumcised boys? Circumcision is a religious commandment in Islam, but because it is concealed, praise the Lord, it is all right. Number two, there is a legitimate concern of security because a burqa covers the face. So in this context, a hijab and full body covering can be allowed. Navika, whether you think it is misogynistic or regressive or a symbol of subjugation, Islam is very clear on how a woman should dress. Quote, and tell the believing women to reduce their vision and guard their private parts and to wrap their head covers over their chests and not expose their adornment except to their husbands, fathers, or males having no physical desire. 24:31. Al-ayuha al-nabiyu kul liyaz wajika waba natika vanisa al-muminina. Quote, O Prophet, tell your wives and your daughters and the women of the believers to bring down over themselves part of their outer garments that is more suitable, that they will be known and not be abused. 33:59. So every true Muslim woman has to adhere to these dress codes of a burqa or a hijab if she believes in the commandments of Allah. And if a school allows for dress codes of identities of other religions, then it has to allow for Islam. As I said, no discrimination. But Navika, by allowing religious dress codes, symbols, identities into educational institutions, we are on the road, sadly, to normalizing unjust, draconian, misogynistic, sexist, supremacist religious orders and commandments. Where would this end? Just 10 seconds, Navika. I ask two simple questions. A, what if tomorrow a Jain student demands he be allowed entry without clothes because it fulfills the most beautiful of his philosophical commandments? And B, what if tomorrow some religious or its god or religion orders women to be shackled in ball and chain at all times? Would you demand that the school allow the girls to rattle and drag themselves in? Just answer these two questions.
Respond, Mr. Saeed Aslam Pasa.